So I'd seen a number of videos about taking the transmission out or doing the clutch in a 99 Honda CRV. Funny enough, the part where they actually take the transmission out seems to be one of those, a miracle has occurred. So I figured I'd make a video on how to actually take the transmission out and show you how to take it out. I've heard it's relatively difficult, and I wanted to be a little more specific about how it actually comes out. So as we see, I took the upper bolt out, the radiator housing, and we're going to look at that little hole right there that's open. I'm going to use the bolt from here, put that in there to support the motor before we take the manual 5-speed transmission out of this 99 Honda CRV. So we see we have the brace set up. Took that top bolt out of the transmission, put it in that blind hole right underneath the thermostat, and we now have tension on this, holding, so it'll hold the motor up, and then I can have the ability to either lift or drop the engine independently of the transmission. Okay, now we're also going to want to take the upper motor mount off. The attempt is to let this engine pivot downwards so that the transmission is easier to get out. Okay, so now the stub axle needs to come out of the transmission. There's these large bolts here holding the transmission on up to the motor mount. There's one of them from the other side, and there's another one up there. And then, of course, the drive line needs to come out, or at least taken loose. Okay, we have the exhaust free, the drive shaft, the stub axle, motor mount, and the engine to transmission bolt. Okay, so we have a jack under here supporting the transmission. I'm going to give it a slack. I'm going to lower this down. Hopefully this gives it a little more clearance. And spots like right here. So make sure nothing's getting too torqued out over here. Not too bad. Gonna lower it down some more. Okay, seems like it's on the jack some. Gonna kind of scooch it over, give it a little more clearance. Feeling a little tippy. Where's that pry bar? Up with the jack a little bit. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I'm going to get a transmission jack for putting this back in, so I can adjust the angles and such. adjusting the upper. Going up with the jack a little bit. Oh, felt something. So remember, just reuse small adjustments on your lift and your jack. And try to make sure your hands are out of the way in case anything slips. Okay, I think we're free. Okay, something that's getting in my way is this shifter. It doesn't seem to be a great position to put it in. I'm going to try lowering this some more. And then lowering the jack a little bit. Okay, it's at a pretty good tilt. You notice I'm not trying to catch this with my hand because I don't want to smash my hand. Okay, it's free. So I got the got that below the subframe, and motor's at a pretty good tilt. I still have this motor mount attached to hold it, and the brace. So now I'm going to lower her down. There we go. Okay, now I re-leveled the motor out. I'm also going to be pulling this motor. I just wanted to get it back level so it's not sitting weird. And I can disconnect any of the other hoses or electrical. And here we have the transmission out of the vehicle. So that's one way to get the transmission out. And again, this wasn't comprehensive. It seemed like there was a lot of other videos that you know, covered a lot of the more detailed aspects, as in taking individual nuts and bolts out. But like I said before, there wasn't a whole lot about the actual removal of the transmission and that it is kind of a little bit of a pain on these vehicles. So I'll also post a video about taking the motor out. At this point, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Seemed like the mysterious thing was getting the transmission out. If you don't drop the whole engine and tranny out of the bottom, as in if you had a lift. So there it is. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe.